look, there's nobody better to talk to than you two, especially Emory. Emory, you dig down to the bottom of the draft. I remember last year you mentioned a school I didn't even know existed. That's what I knew, that Emory was going deep with his sleeper. So let's just start there. Who is your top sleeper that could maybe end up being a guy who makes a major impact in the NFL?
Well, it's fascinating because you watch these guys throughout the process. So I start the process in December when I head to the FCS Bowl, which is a smaller all-star game, first all-star game out in the States in Daytona Beach, first week of December. And this guy was there, and then he ended up getting a call up to the Tropical Bowl, which is another mid-level all-star game in January, and that's Levy Drake Rodriguez of Texas A&M Commerce. And backing up a little bit, when you look at him and you look at that program, last year I had a high grade on an edge rusher in Celestine Haba of Texas A&M Commerce, who ended up going, he didn't get drafted, but ended up going to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as a rookie out of the United States and starting. That's unheard of, and was leading the league in sacks for the first 6 weeks before he got injured. So that's telling you about the program and how they rotate this defensive line. But Levy Drake Rodriguez is someone that really was looking like he shouldn't be at the FCS Bowl. But then we get to call up to the Tropical Bowl. Now you're playing against FBS offensive linemen, and he's still doing the same things he did back in December. I'm talking about quickness off the ball, works his hands rather well, uses his natural leverage, does all those things you want to see an interior defensive lineman to do, and he was doing it consistently over the course of the practices and also did a good job in the game. So this is someone that has been generating a lot of buzz all throughout the offseason. Now, we're talking about day 3 here, so we're talking about 7th round maybe, but if not, definitely is going to be a high priority free agent because of what we've seen from Texas A&M Commerce over the last 2 draft cycles along the defensive line.
Yeah, and for people who are not familiar with Texas A&M Commerce, look, they're in the Southland Conference, so get your Southland Conference schedule. And I think, Emory, what you just mentioned is important, is that you have these guys who maybe aren't playing the best competition during the regular season, but you really do get a good idea of how good they are once they get to these postseason all-star games, and you can really see if they can match up with these guys. I do love that you mentioned the same school last year as you did this year, and that they're mining out defensive linemen. It's kind of crazy. And here's a quick fact about Texas A&M Commerce. The first player ever drafted out of that school, and I believe first and only, Antonio Wilson, to the Minnesota Vikings in the year of our Lord 2000. So it happened 24 years ago. We could see it happen again here 24 years later. All right, Josh, give it to me. Who is your number one sleeper prospect in the draft?
Yeah, that's tough to top. I've actually got 2, one of which I put on the sheet. The other one that I did not put on the sheet because it's the only group of 5 player that we will talk about today. Nathan Thomas, the offensive tackle out of Louisiana. I had to do this. Emory's a big Louisiana guy. I feel like I've been carrying the flag to this point, so I'm going to go ahead and steal this one again. When you look at what he has done at the collegiate level, he's played right tackle. You could possibly see him move inside at the next level, similar to what we saw from another Raging Cajun offensive lineman, Robert Hunt, who was a right tackle for the Raging Cajuns as well, made the transition inside and signed a very lucrative contract this offseason with the Carolina Panthers. The other player that I have prepared is Jalix Hunt, the edge rusher out of Houston Christian. Still kind of an unpolished pass rusher. He was a safety at Cornell for 3 years, made the transition to rushing off the edge. A guy that's got a lot of untapped potential, and I think you could see that come out at the next level. This is a guy that's 6'4", 252, ran a 4.64 in the 40-yard dash, as well as a 1.6 10-yard split. So you see that explosive ability a little bit, and that's going to excite coaches at the next level. He lettered in basketball, track and field. Father played at Ole Miss, so he's got a little bit of that pedigree that suggests he could make the transition to the next level. And then 37.5-inch vertical jump, 10'8" broad jump. Just a really well-rounded athlete that I think a lot of teams are going to be excited by in this draft.
And let me ask you this, and I'll go back to Emory real quick. Was your guy at the Combine?
Yeah, my guy was at the Combine, so that's probably going to prevent him from being a true sleeper in this draft class. But when we're talking about guys that could make a big impact at the next level, Your pickings are a little bit slim, so I kind of cherry picked a little bit on this one, but nonetheless, a guy that has taken his opportunity to small school and really elevated his platform.
And Emory, was Drake Rodriguez at the combine?
No, he wasn't. And surprisingly, he wasn't, because this is someone that probably should have been there from an athleticism standpoint. Don't get me started on the NFL combine and its process of getting guys there that don't want to participate.
All right. That makes him a true sleeper then, if you get taken without getting a combine invite. And I gave a fun fact about Emory's guy, at least his college. Josh, let me ask you this. You have obviously your guy went to Houston Christian, which, if everyone is thinking, scratching their head, wondering what that school is, it used to be called Houston Baptist. Josh, do you know the first player ever to be drafted who started at Houston Baptist, or Houston Christian as it is known now?
Yeah, that would be, the quarterback. You have to help me out. The quarterback that's with the Patriots now. I can't think of his name.
Ever, you know it?
It's Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi. Yeah, before he transferred to Western Kentucky. Yep.
I could see Emery's eyes lit up. I knew he knew right away.
They'll be Houston Methodist by tomorrow. They keep changing denominations.
They get everybody in, be all encompassing. We take everyone. Everyone's welcome.